switch on the camera to keep the focus in the class. Today is a very special day because we are going to start the new chapter by completing the moment due to a force, right? So we have to do a lot of works. The one thing is we have to discuss this paper, right? So the important points, important things you want to tell that the students, if you can exactly come in the class at the 8 p.m., right, it's better. We can do a lot of work in the class, and therefore keep it in mind to join the class at the 8 p.m. So you don't have the traveling cost, that you don't have any traveling, and therefore keep it in mind to join the class exactly on time. Right, let's start. So the first thing, did you complete this one? Yes. Did you complete booster paper? Right. Nishal, please switch on the camera. Senar, Sinura, Rusheni. Rusheni, did you receive the tube?
Still no, sir.
Still not yet?
No.
Oh. Right. Already to the paid students, we posted this tube, right? Chemical bonds, right? Is a everything having. It's a workbook actually, right? It's a workbook. So it's a chemical bonds tube. So we are going to discuss the theory in this lesson, right? The workbook related to the chemical. Poster paper group again at the I shared it, no? Really? It's there. Just mentioned. Bala. Hurry, okay. First one, 36, 35, 17 x the number of neutrons of the given atom of element. Make a man deep 35. 35, 17 x the number of neutrons. Easy. Which one? Mass number, right? 35 is we called as a mass number. I will explain speedily. Right, x is actually atomic number. Mass number is p plus n. Atomic number is p. So asking about the neutrons, I will explain. Proton is 17. Electron is also 17. How many neutron? 35 minus 17. 35 minus 17. 18. Answer number 1. Answer number 1. Sena, please switch on the camera. Element M react with oxygen gas, form M2O molecules. Possible electronic configuration of M. Right. Possible electronic configuration they are asking about. M2O, no? It's a M2O. Then what is the valency of each of the element? Right. M2O form, you know that whether by sharing the valencies of each of the element, right? Valency of the oxygen should be 2 and valency of the M should be 1. Therefore, it's a plus 1 and 2. Right? M should be M plus 1. M plus 1. Right? M should be M plus 1. M plus 1. Right? Then, first thing we want to get the idea about, M should be first group metal. It's a first group element. May I will a first group element take up. Now, what is the valency? The sign we can take it. If it is first group element, so how do we decided that whether it's a first group element? The way that decided, you can see that their valency is 1. Their valency is 1. That's why I decided that whether it's a first group element. So if it is first group, their valence, when we write this electronic configuration, the outer shell should be 1 electron. Then check whether the electronic configurations with having 1 electrons in the outer shells. Fourth one, 2, 8, 1. 2, 8, 1. කවුද මේ ඇත්තටම sodium ගැන කියලා තියෙන්නේ. Here is the way that we are taking. Select the correct answer for the scalar quantity. Asking about scalar quantity. Lazy, mass is scalar quantity, and other one time. Time. A and D. A and T. The gravitational acceleration of moon is 1/6 that the earth. If gravitational acceleration of earth is 10, what would be the weight? It's a common question, right? මේ පාරත් O level එකට ආවා මේක. Weight equal mass into gravity. We know that the formula, right? The mass of the object is 60 kilogram. The weight of the earth is 10 ms minus 2, then 600 newton. 600 newton is the weight of the earth. But said that whether the gravity of the earth is 1/6 time to the gravity of the moon is 1/6 of the gravity of the earth, right? And earth gravity right? So how do we apply these conditions to this? Is the gravity of the earth is 10, no, then it's about gravity of the earth is 1/6 to the gravity of the earth. Then 10 times to 1/6, actually 10/6 ms minus 2. It's a 10/6. So how do we take the answer? W equal mg, mass equal 60 kilograms into 10 times to 6. It's a 1, it's a 10, then 100 Newton. An advantage contained fiber in food is low risk in cancer in large intestine. It's correct. Prevent the constipation, correct. Helps to control blood sugar level, correct. All the above. All the above answer. All the above. Type of vitamin soluble in water, right? What are they? Water insolubility ka naam mata matakai. KADE. What are the vitamins soluble in water? KADE is insoluble. බලන්න ඕකේ නැති ඔය ටික තමයි ගන්න. E තියෙනවනේ පළවෙනි එකේ ගන්න බෑ. Right? And second one also having E, vitamin B and C. Third one, vitamin B and C. Which test can be identified in the lipid in school laboratory? Sudan 3 test. Sudan 3 test. Which explain from the following velocity time graph. Which explain from the velocity time graph. Right? Velocity time graph. Right? What is it? Which explain that? Velocity is constant. No? Uniform velocity. Uniform velocity. Which of this is the displacement time graph? Object thrown vertically upward when called backward, right? Object thrown vertically upward now, motion displacement time, right? Motion is reduces. And after come back to the original position, displacement should be 0. The graph nature may again, right? May balan, right? Then api thrown up, udata visikan object එකක් maximum height එකට ගිහින් ආපහු එයා පහළට එනවා. එහෙනම් displacement එක 0 වෙනවා. So when it is moving means their velocity reduce, right? Because deceleration. And when it is come, it's acceleration, right? So therefore, the most suitable shape is this time, right? This time. I will explain speedily because to go the theory lesson. X is an element which atomic number 19. What is the period? Easy and group. Write the electronic configuration 2, 8, 1. Having 4 energy levels in a fourth period. Outer shell electrons first group. You know that whether number of electrons having valence shells represent their groups and number of electrons in the number of energy levels having it is represent their period. So fourth period and first group. Okay, count that how many MCQ is correct. Count it quickly. Yes, out of the 10. Yes, out of the 10. සස්සිරු. අපේ අර නාලන්දේ පුතා ඉන්නවද? රේෂන් හෑන්ඩ් එකක් දාන්න. මම නම් මතක නැහැ. සින්දුරද නැහැ සින්දුර නෙමෙයි. ඉන්නවනම් රේෂන් හෑන්ඩ් එකක් දාන්න. නැහැ. 7යි. 10ම ඉන්නවද කවුරුත් නැහැ. 10ම 10 කවුරුත් නැහැ. මැක්සිමම් 7 හරිනි කොහොමද? කට්ටියගේ දාමුද බලන්න. ආන්සර්ස්. තෙනුච 8යි. good. 8යි. සුපර් 8. සින්ද්‍ර 7යි. අඩුපාඩු බලන්න සින්ද්‍ර. සෙනා good 9. right නියමයි සෙනා. හරි. වැරදුනේ මොකද graph එකද? paper එක හොයාගන්න බැරි වුන නිසා කරන්න බැරි වුණා. හරි okay. right. paper එක මම හැමදාම මේ ඔයගොල්ලෝ alert එකේ ඉන්න හැමදාම paper එකක් වැටෙනවා කියලා අනුත්තර සුපිරි. 9 හොඳයි. මේ paper එක දානවා group එකට. පන්ති පටන් ගන්න පැය භාගයකට කලින් share කරලා තියන්න. ඒක බලන්න. හරි. එතකොට අපිට එන්න තියෙන්නේ අපේ කරගෙන හිටපු lesson එක ඉවර කරලා ඉක්මනට එමු. පුතාලා මේ මම මේ මාසේ ඔයගොල්ලන්ට paper discussion එකක් separately arrange කරනවා. ඒ ගැන මම group එකට share කරන්න second term එක ready වෙන්න. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට Friday තමයි time එක ගන්න වෙන්නේ. එන්න අපහසු දරුවෝ ඉන්නවනම් පොඩක් go follow up කරන්න recording එක. ඒක වෙනම මේ මාසේ අපි කරන්න හිතන් ඉන්න එක payments මොකුත් add වෙන්නේ නැහැ. free of charge කරලා දෙනවා. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට Friday මේ week එකේ නෙමෙයි next week එකේ ඉඳන් කරනවා. 8:30 ඒ කියන්නේ මේක term test එක plan කරලා free of charge යන class එකක්. එතනින් එහාට අපි ඒක conversion වෙන විදිහ මම කියන්නම් මේ මාසේ ඔයගොල්ලෝගේ term test ඉවර වෙනකන් completely free යන class එකක්. ගොඩක් වෙලාවට 8 pm or 8:30 pm right 8 pm we can start right 8 pm to 10 right completely second term test papers discuss කරලා දෙනවා term test එක base කරලා ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නවා western province now 15 of the next month 15 පටන් ගන්නවා අනිත් month අනිත් ඒ වගේ කොහොම වෙයිද දන්නේ නැහැ අනිත් province කොහොමද දන්නේ නැහැ හැබැයි ඒ කාලෙට ඒ කාලෙත් එක්කම තමයි මේ සමකාලීනව papers ටික පටන් ගන්නේවි right ඒක නිසා ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් ඔළුවේ තියාගන්න. හරි okay we have to start the theory. So last day we have discussed about what is the moment due to a force. So you know that the moment is created due to the right due to the applying of the force and as a result of the rotation, right? Rotations to the fixed point, right? Here the good example is door, right? The door is connected to the, you know that whether what do we call hinges වලින් connect වෙලා තියෙනවා for the door frame අපි උළුවස්ස කියන්නේ. හරි. So you know that we are applying force to the door for the opening or rotations. Right here is the place that connected to the lock. මේ තමයි lock එක තියෙන තැන. So when we are opening and closing, the door is rotated around this axis, right? So the place that we are applying the force, according to the place that we are applying the force to the door, actually it depends the amount of force, right? The amount of force applied to the door for the motion is changed, right? When the distance is increased to the fixed point, which distance? The perpendicular distance increase to the fixed point to the door, right? The amount of force you want to apply is reduces, and the place that you are apply the force to the door close to the rotational axis, the amount of force you have to apply is increased. Got it idea? The important thing is, right, there is a relationship in between the place that you apply force as well as what is it? There's a relationship in between the place that you are applying force and the distance to the rotational axis. distance to the perpendicular distance to the rotational axis. The relationships having in between the place that you have amount of force and the amount of force you apply and the rotational which one perpendicular distance we called as a moment due to the force. We called it, right? What is it? There is a relationships in between the amount of force you apply to the door as well as the perpendicular distance having to the rotational axis, which the place that you apply the force, right? That is we call as a moment due to a force. This what do we call? This product is actually always constant. That means force and the perpendicular distance value is force into perpendicular distance value is always constant. But what is the differ? When you apply more close to the door, you have to apply high amount of force. When you apply the force far away to the rotational axis, you have to apply the less amount of force. That means the product in these two factors is always constant. It differs the values according to the place that you apply force. Right? So we have discussed about that. What do we call as a moment due to a force equal moment due to a force equal force into perpendicular distance. Perpendicular distance, right? What do we call it? We called as a F into simple D. Force is we measured by the Newton, distance meter, and a unit again Newton meters, right? Newton meters. SI unit is Newton meters. It's a vector quantity. It's a vector quantity, right? So now let's come to our next heading. Let's come to our next heading. Calculating the clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. Write the topic. Calculating the clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. What is the clockwise moment and what is the anti-clockwise moment? I will explain that. Topic එකක් විදිහටම ලියා ගන්න. Calculating clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment. මට කියන්න කවුද අපේ දුව තිසන්ති, did you receive the tube? තිසන්තිගේ tube එක ගොඩක් දවස් පෝස්ට් කරනවා. මට tube එක හම්බුනා පොඩි message එකක් දාන්න. Right. So what is the clockwise moment and what is the anti-clockwise moment? Just you understand, right? Moment have only two direction. Moment එකට තියෙන්නේ two direction. I told that whether moment due to a force is a vector quantity. No, don't confuse these two words, right? Most of the students are confused. Momentum and moment. Totally two different quantities, right? Momentum, what do we call? How difficult to stop the moving object? We call it as a momentum. P equal mv කියන්නේ අපි කතා කරමු. Moment කියන්නේ force into distance කියන්නේ. F into d කියන්නේ. හරි? පටලවා ගන්න එපා. දෙක පටලවා ගන්න එපා. හරිද? එතකොට පුතේ I want to tell that whether moment have only two direction. The one direction we call it as a clockwise direction. Other one is we call it as a anti-clockwise direction. We'll see that whether, right? We'll see that whether how it is taken. May consider that there is a like take this example. there is a wooden rod. Actually, the rod is suspended in this place. On this, imagine that it's suspended on this using this supporter. මෙයාව use කරලා මේක suspend කරලා තියෙනවා කියලා හිතන්න. It's not balanced, right? මේ විදිහට ඉන්නවා කියලා හිතන්න. Right? Hang out the, let's take that weather here having let's take that 3 Newton weight. And in this region having suspended to the another weight, let's take 5 Newton weight. It's having 5 Newton weight. And this side having 3 Newton weight. Right? What are the weight? 3 Newton weight. Take the distance. Take the distance in between this place to the fixed point is 0.3 meters. අපි ගමු මේකේ තියෙන්නේ 0.3. And මේ හරියට ගන්න distance එක අපි let's take it y. We don't know that. Right? We don't know the distance. Right? මේ බලන්න. Firstly, I want to explain about what is the direction. Right? Here you can see that whether, right, this wooden strip is suspended on this triangular shape using the supporter. Right? ඔයා දන්නවා, you have the experience about that when we are suspending any of the object. Likewise, so here is this triangular surface, triangular supporter, and here is the which one? The wooden strip, right? මේ වගේ අපි තිබ්බොත් මේ බලන්න, there is a chance to falls down the one side. මේ ඔන්න බලන්න, you can see that, right? Then if it is මේ බලන්න, there is a chance to falls down to the one side. You can see that, right? But think about that when it is equilibrium on this supporter, මේ support එක උඩ, right? මේ support උඩ එක උඩ මේක balance කියන්නේ, right? The two things should be completed. එකක් වෙන්න ඕනි මේ meter rule midpoint එකෙන් අපි මෙයා තියාගෙන ඉන්නව වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම වුණොත් what is it? Both of the weight are equal in the both side. එහෙමනම් මේක හැබැයි uniform rod එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ එකම weight එකක් හැමතැනම එකම mass එකක් තියෙන එකක් වෙන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් otherwise we can balance it is, right? මේක උඩ balance වෙන්න ඕනේ. balance කරන්න පුළුවන් මේ වගේ balance කරන්න පුළුවන් ක්‍රම තියෙනවා. Right? So the thing is, you can see that the ruler is rotating in this point. ඔයාලට පේනවද මේ? මෙන්න මේක උඩ තමයි rotate වෙන්නේ මේ පැත්තට යන්නේ, මේ පැත්තට යන්නේ, rotate වෙන්නේ. This point actually we call it as a rotational point, right? මේකට අපි කියනවා rotational point. Always moment එක ගන්න rotational point එක මත. මේ බලන්න, rotational point එකේ ඉඳන් තමයි moment එක ගන්න. Consider my which one? Left hand side. Consider my left hand side. මේ බලන්න, there is a chance to rotate my left hand side in this direction. මේ පැත්තට තමයි එයා rotate වෙන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මෙහෙම තමයි වැටෙන්නේ. මේ rotate වෙන්න තියෙන chance එක. එයා වැටෙන්නේ මේ පැත්තට මේ my left hand side. ඒ කියන්නේ මගේ clock එක තියෙන්නේ. අතේ clock එකක් තියෙන්නේ. එයා වැටෙන්නේ ওই පැත්තට. Right? And what is the chance that having the rotating another side? අනිත් පැත්ත වැටෙන්න තියෙන chance එක මේ බලන්න. In another side, right? අනිත් පැත්තට තමයි එයා වැටෙන්න තියෙන chance එක. එහෙනම් you can see that only having two direction, right? Only having two direction for this is the one direction is this side and another direction is another side, right? Another direction is another side. එතකොට මේ පැත්තේ මේ direction එක actually similar to the direction that rotate in the which one? Indicators of the clock. ඔරලෝසුවේ කටු කැරකෙන්නේ මේ පැත්තනේ. මෙහෙටනේ කැරකෙන්නේ මේ. මෙහෙට නේද ඔරලෝසුවේ කටු ටික කැරකෙන්නේ. ඔරලෝසුවේ කටු මෙහෙමනම් clock එක තියෙන්නේ. Right? මේ indicators ටික යන්නේ කොහෙටද? මේ බලන්න. මෙහෙටයි යන්නේ. මේ direction එක we call it as a, what is it? Clockwise direction. In a opposite we called as a anti-clockwise direction. Anti-clockwise direction. Clockwise direction and anti-clockwise direction. It's a clockwise, it's anti-clockwise. මේ බලන්න, it's rotate, the wooden strip rotate around this point. This point we called it as a rotational point, right? So you can see that both of the side we suspended different weight of the masses, the 5 Newton and 3 Newton. So if it is suspended different weight of these both sides, imagine that whether if the wooden split is balanced on the rotational point, that means already to balance in the rotational point, that means the moment created in this side should be equal to the moment created to the another side. මේ බලන්න මෙතන force එකක් තියෙනවා, rotational point එකක් තියෙනවා, rotational point එකේ ඉඳන් force එකට perpendicular distance එකක් තියෙනවා. එහෙනම් මේක නිසා due to this is what happened, it's create the moment, right? අපි දන්නවා we have discussed earlierly moment equal force into perpendicular distance to where? To the rotational axis. Rotational axis එකට තියෙන perpendicular distance එක, right? මේක ඉක්මනටම discuss කරලා ඉවර කරන්න ඕන දරුවනේ. Right? We have to do the lot of work, right? පොසොන් පොය දවසේ පන්තියේ තියෙනවා. ලොකුත් දාගන්න එපා. උදේ වරුවේ class එක කරලා ඉවර කරමු. We have to do the lot of work ඒකයි. Right? ඊළඟට මතක තියාගන්න මම next Monday කියන්නම් ආපහු මේක. මට මේ අමතක වෙයි කියලා ආපහු මතක් කරන්න. Next Tuesday extra class එකක් යනවා. Next Tuesday 8:30 PM biodiversity එක කරලා දෙනවා එදාට. Right? මේ මාසේ මේ විදිහට extra class ටිකක් යනවා මම ඒක කියන්නම්. Right? එතකොට මේ බලන්න moment equal force into perpendicular distance we have discussed. Right? Having two different weight at both of sides, it's a 5 Newton, මේ පැත්තට වඩා මේ පැත්තේ වැඩි. එතකොට අපි usually normally know that we feel that due to the having the higher weight in this side should be come down. But if not happening like this, that means the moment create in this side should be equal to the moment create the another side. So we, right, the moment create in this side we call it as a clockwise moment. What do we call? Clockwise moment. Clockwise moment. Clockwise moment කියන්නේ මෙන්න මේ පැත්තට rotate වෙන එක. Right? We can take the values. We can write the clockwise moment. Clockwise moment, how do we take it? We know that force is F into D. Right? We are taking F into D. That is the formula. So what is the force? It's a 5 Newton. Distance, our distance is given Y. It's a clockwise moment. Right? Now let's write another one is we called as an anti-clockwise moment. Anti-clockwise moment. Imagine that darone, if the rod is equilibrium, may rod equilibrium now, the clockwise moment should be equal to the anti-clockwise moment. Before that, let's write what is the anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise moment is also we are taking using this formula, force into perpendicular distance to the rotational axis. Force create in this situation 3 Newton. Perpendicular axis is 0.3 meters. 0.3 meters. Right? 0.3 meters. Then, if the rod is equilibrium on this wooden strip, right? Rod is equilibrium of the rod is equilibrium on this rotational axis, right? The clockwise moment should be equals to the anti-clockwise moment. Anti-clockwise moment. Make equilibrium නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් fulfill වෙන්න ඕනි condition එක තමයි clockwise moment එක anti-clockwise moment එකට equal වෙනවා. What is the clockwise moment? We found it 5 newtons times to y. What is the anti-clockwise moment? 3 newtons times to 0.3. So then can you simplify this one? How do we simplify this? Is we can simplify, right? We can simplify it as a likewise. We can simplify 5 Newton into y equal 3 Newton into 0.3, and 5y equal 3 times to 0.3, y equals 3 into 0.3 divided by 5. What is it? 0.9 divided by 5. 0.14. 1/4. Yes, 1/4 meters. Here is the answer. මම වැරදුනාද? 16 නේ 0.18. විශ්වන්නට 18. 0.18 meters. එහෙනම් මේ බලන්න distance of the y we can find what is it? 0.8. කොහොමද අපි ගත්තේ? clockwise moment එක fd ගත්තා, anti-clockwise moment එකත් ගත්තා. So then if the rod is equilibrium, මේ rod එක equilibrium නම් we found that whether clockwise moment should be equal to the anti-clockwise moment. clockwise moment එක anti-clockwise moment එකට equal වෙනවා. ඇත්තටම අපිට proof කරගන්න පුළුවන් මේ දෙක equal ද කියලා. මේ බලන්න anti-clockwise moment එක මේ දෙන්න multiply කරලා 3 times to 0.3 කියන්නේ what is it? The value is 0.9. දැන් අපි y distance එක හොයාගත්තනේ. F 5y කියන කෙනා කීයද බලන්නකො. 5 times to y. Actually y කියන්නේ 0.18. එහෙනම් 5 times to 0.18 නේ. බලන්නකො මේ 5 into 8 40. 4 is remaining. 5 into 1 5. Then 9. 0.9. මේ බලන්න both of the moment are equal. Both of the moment are equal mean resultant moment is 0. මේ දෙන්න මේ වෙලාවේ resultant moment එක 0 ලා. right? මේක තමයි අපි කියන්නේ moment due to force. ඔච්චරයි ඕකේ තියෙන්නේ. එහෙනම් moment එකට direction දෙකක් තියෙනවා. One direction is we call it as a clockwise moment. Other one is we call it as a anti-clockwise moment. පැහැදිලිද? අපි චුට්ටක් දාගමු. ලියාගමු මේ විදිහට. ලියන්න. The moment which try to turn the object in the clockwise direction is called clockwise moment is called clockwise moment. And the moment which try to turn the object anti-clockwise direction. Turn the object anti-clockwise direction. Turn the object anti-clockwise direction is called anti-clockwise moment. Is called anti-clockwise moment. Anti-clockwise moment. Right? මේ ගාන මෙහෙම තියලා අපි හදාගන්න. පොඩි calculation එකක් අපි පොඩි part theory part එකක් ඉගෙන ගමු. right මේ ගාන මේ විදිහටම තියලා formulas ටික එන හැටි චුට්ටක් ඉගෙන ගමු right එතකොට බලන්න ඔය කියන rod එකක් තියෙනවා right let's take that whether it's fixed to the midpoint right let's take that with a fixed point here we make it O right O කියලා ගමු there is a force fixed to this direction let's take that F both of the direction having two forces right අපි ගමු මේක F2 කියලා let's take whether if it's a F1 right and let's take that the distance here let's take that whether D1 and D2 distance from this and here D2 and D1 you know that whether both of the side it's create the forces no both of the side create the forces due to these forces what happened when you apply the F1 force it try to rotate this wooden strip for this direction around this axis right here rotational axis right as a result of rotation here happen right මේ පැත්තට අපි කියනවා මේ මොකක්ද what do we call here due to the F2 force it rotate right එතකොට මේ rotate F2 right due to the F2 force is also create the moment F1 is due to the F1 force is also create the moment right anyway in every two forces due to the every two forces it rotate around this axis මේ axis එකට තමයි rotate වෙන්නේ එහෙනම් අපිට මෙයාගේ clockwise moment එක අපිට ලියන්න පුළුවන් right make a clockwise moment අපි මේ symbol වලින් ලියමු right make and here is the anti clockwise moment if you have the question you can ask me right lamai you can switch on the mic also right so the clockwise moment we can write F1 into D1 let's take the first equation anti-clockwise moment direction is very important right anti-clockwise moment F2 into D2 right then resultant moment we have to write the resultant moment that means you think about when we are applying the two forces are same time when we are applying the two forces are same time you can get the idea about that whether the moment which hires the moment we applied in hires right moment we apply the in higher side it start to rotate just example you think about the moment apply in this side anti-clockwise moment imagine that 50 Newton meter right clockwise moment take with that with the just example right 60 Newton meter so what is the difference between these two 10 Newton meter 10 Newton meter having which direction may in this direction that is we call as rotation what do we call resultant moment right due to the resultant moment 10 Newton meter it's rotate in this direction make a rotate but what do you think about these two moments are equal here is the 50 Newton meter and in this side also the 50 Newton meter right two moments are equal then what is the result resultant is zero never happen never any rotations may විදිහටම ඉන්න because resultant එක zero ni එන අපිට ලියන්න පුළුවන් මේ බලන්න let's write important point when the two forces are applied in the same time එකම වෙලාවේ forces දෙක apply කරලා තියෙනවනම් right the resultant moment the resultant moment, we can write what is it? F1 into D1 minus F2 into D2. F2 into D2, right? Why am I take the F1 minus F1 D1 minus F2 D2? I just think that whether here clockwise moment is positive value. Method mama assume that whether I assume that what is it? Clockwise moment positive. Clockwise moment take a positive, definitely anti-clockwise should be the negative. Right? Anti-clockwise should be the negative. එහෙනම් අපිට ගන්නවා මේ බලන්න අපිට condition එකක් හදාගන්න පුළුවන්. If the opposite moments are equal, what will happen? The object not will be rotate and it exists as equilibrium. මේ object එක rotate වෙන්නේ නැහැ. මෙයා ඉන්නේ කොහමද? equilibrium එකේ ඉන්නේ. සිනුර නින්දේයි කැම් එක on කරේ නැත්තම්. කැමරා එක on කරගමු. වෙනදාට on කරනවනේ. හරි? ඉතින් කැමරා එක on කරගමු. සෙනා super right? මට ඔගේ ෆොටෝ එකක් ගහලා යවන්න පුළුවන් නම් මරනවා. ආ ක්ලාස් එකේ ඉන්න හැටි. ෆොටෝ එකක් ගහලා යවන්න පුළුවන්. ඒක nice. right? මේ හරි මේක තමයි කතාව. got it idea. device දෙකකින් ඉන්නේ නෑනේ. only one device. හරි. cameras on කරගන්න ළමයි මේවා මාර වැදගත් හරිද? ඔයගොල්ලෝ දන්නේ මේ දැන් අපි මේ theory දන්නේ නැතුව ළමයි සෑහෙන්න වැඩේ අවුල් කරගන්නවා. ඒ කියන්නේ පුදුම විදියට සබ්ජෙක්ට් එක අවුල් වෙනවා ළමයින්ට. හේතුව තමයි මේ theory ගැන ලොකු අවබෝධයක් නැහැ. මේවා හරි ලේසි basic concepts තියෙන. දැන් හිතන්නකෝ මේ පැත්තේ moment එක වැඩි නම් මේ පැත්තේ moment එකට වඩා මේක rotate වෙනවා. ඒතර moment having only two direction දෙකයි තියෙන්නේ clockwise and anti-clockwise. any rotational object rotational ඕන එකකට තියෙන්නේ moment දෙකයි. හරි එතකොට මේ කියන lazy concepts ටික ඔළුවේ තියෙන්න ඕනේ. very easy these concept right මේවා හරි ලේසියෙන් කොට දා ගන්න පුළුවන් වැඩේ තියෙන theory එක absorb වෙනවා එතකොට දැන් මේ class එකේ ඔයා කැමරා එක on කරන් ඉන්නවා කියන්නේ focusing එක හොඳටම පන්ති ඇතුලේ තියෙනවා නේද මට කොයි වෙලේ හරි පේනවනේ මම ප්‍රශ්න අහනවනේ ඔයා හිතනවනේ ආ මොනවා හරි ආයි කියලා දැන් හරිනේ සේනාල් එතකොට මේ always camera switch on ඉතින් ඒක ඉතින් වටිනවා මම දැක්ක මේ කාලෙකින් අපේ ළමෙක් ඇවිත් හිටියා කොමන්ස් ඉන්නවද ආයෙ ලීව් වෙලාද හුසයිෆා ඉන්නවද හුසයිෆා පන්ති හිටියා ආයෙ ලෙෆ්ට් වෙලා හිටියා රෙකෝඩින් විතරයි බලන්නේ හරි ඔක තමයි කතාව අපි හෙඩින් එක දාගත්තේ මොකද්ද ප්‍රීවියස්ලි අපි clockwise and anti clockwise ගැන ලිව්වේනේ හරි අපි දාගමු මෙන්න මෙහෙම පොයින්ට් එකක් ලියන්න when a force acting on object when a force acting on an object depending on the direction of rotation the moment can be classified as depending on the direction of rotation the moment can be classified as clockwise moment and anti-clockwise moment write the point consider the Chauvenin-Fallowen figure the two forces, the two forces the two forces F1 and F1 and the two forces F1 and
Sir, can you delete again?
consider the following figure. The two forces F1 and F2 exerted on the stick, exerted on the stick clamp, clamp at the point O, clamp at the point O. Right. Mekandala, draw this figure and quickly write it. Taking up Iliago. Right, taggal copy Liagan. Are you finished? Okay, finish, then just put the ratio hand. So we have to start the new lesson also. Finish. Right. Now let's go to the next example. Right. Consider the example. මේව ලියාගමු. ලියන්න. As shown in the following figure, as shown in the following figure, as shown in the following figure, a uniform rod, as shown in the following figure, as shown in the following figure, a uniform rod, a uniform rod is suspended, is suspended, is suspended, and is suspended and balance at the point O, point O, balance at the point O. Write it. Find the value. Find the value of y. Find the value of y. හරි කොපියක් දාගන්න. ගාන හදලා තියෙන විදිහට හදාගන්න. Right, okay. If you complete your work, just put the raise your hand. Okay. You have one more heading. Next Tuesday onwards, get ready for the another classes. 2 biology lessons we have discussed. Continuity of life and the world of life. right? By taking the Tuesday time 8:30 to 10:30, my plan is cover these two lessons. There is a special tune for this is I will share the PDF to the your WhatsApp group, right? After this week, we make this special paid group, no? Right? Again, මේ සතියෙන් පස්සේ paid group එකක් හැදේ. දැන් අද common group එකට link එක දැම්මේ paid group එකට දාන්නම් අදාළ unit PDF ටික ඔයගොල්ලෝ print outs අරගෙන ready කරගන්න. එතකොට continuity of life, plant reproduction and animal reproduction ප්‍රශ්නයක් හැදෙන තැනක් term test එකට then the world of life එතන ප්‍රශ්නයක් හැදෙනවා මේ month එක පුරාවට මේක කරනවා සම්කිසි දරුවෙක්ට එන්න බැරි නම් tubes ටික අරගෙන ready වෙන්න ඒ වෙලාවට මේ recording එකෙන් හරි වැඩේ කොට දාගන්න අපිට අර online එකේ chance එක තියෙන නිසා අපි මේ විදිහට කරමු Friday මේ week එකේ next week එකේ ඉඳන් papers discuss කරන්න පටන් ගන්නවා Friday 8:30 to 10:30. Right, ඒක totally free class එකක්. පොඩි link එකක් හදලා දාන්න පොඩ්ඩක් යාළුවන්ට share කරන්න. හරි paper discussion එකක් කරනවා. Full second term test papers, right? Second term එක related, especially chemistry and physics තමයි focus වෙන්නේ. Right? Okay. Let's write this small question. Thank you, Varina. Let's consider this figure. මේක මට්ටක් ගන්න answer එකක් දාලා right? He is the solid substances. Let's take that. What is it? Wooden strip, right? Suspended in this place. Suspended this place.
The question එක කියන්නේ
අරුණි මොකක්ද කිව්වේ?
Sir question එකක්ද කිව්වේ?
නෑ මේ ගාන හදාගමු. මේක අඳින්න. Right? Here's the question. Right? මේ question එක නමුත් මේ එකට statement එකක් මොකුත් අවශ්‍ය වෙන්නේ නැහැ. Right. අපි මේක හදමු. මේක හොයන්න මට weight is 60 Newton. Newton and W. Right? එතකොට it's a 20 meters. Right? It's a 40 meters. Find the value of the W. Find the value of the W. W. Find the value of W. After complete your answer, just put the raise your hand and then put into the chat box, right? Yes, did you complete? Right, 330 Newton. Good. One of the answers coming to the chat box. Please put your answer, right, Senar? Sinura? Sinura put that, no? Tisandi? Tisandi, you didn't tell me that whether did you receive the tune? No? Okay, I will 30 Newton, right, good, 30 Newton. Right, good. I give the just 1 minute to complete that. It's a 20 meter, right? Pain on it. So what's the theory? If here is the equilibrium, right? If it is equilibrium, you know that it creates clockwise moment. Clockwise moment is W times 2, 40 meters. අපි දන්නවනේ moment equal FD. Right, anti-clockwise moment. Anti-clockwise moment is also 60 Newton times 2, 20 meter. Now, if it is equilibrium, we know that clockwise moment should be equal to the anti-clockwise. Clockwise moment is W times to 40 equal 60 Newton times to 20 meter. W equal 60 times to 20 divided by 4. It's a 1, it's a 2, 30. 30 Newton is answer. Here is the way. If you want to write anything else, just quickly write that before go to the next one. Right, next heading is couple of forces, right? The last heading of the lesson. Write the heading. The couple of forces. The couple of forces. Couple of forces. All right, what do you mean by couple of forces? Example and the instances that we are using, applying the couple of forces. Remember, consider the example. When we are driving, imagine that whether it's a steering wheel. Here is having like this one. Consider that whether it's a steering wheel. Right? We are applying the force. Right? Here is the way. So when we apply the force in this direction and then other apply the force to this direction. Right? අපි එකපාර මෙන්න මෙහෙම දෙකම මෙහෙම apply කරන්න නැහැ. මෙහෙම එක පැත්තට. So if you want to rotate the turn this side, we are applying the force this way. And if you want to turn another side, we are applying the force this way. Any of the force you apply, you can get the idea about that. The steering wheel rotated in this line. In this line, it rotated in this line. Here is the line that rotated. It's a line that rotated. Right? It's a potential axis. It's a rotational axis. We are applying the force. So what do you think about the force applying these two instances? Both forces are similar. Both forces are similar. Same amount of force is applied. Right? Another example. When we are opening or closing the tap, consider the instances when we are opening or closing a tap. Right? We are rotating this knob likewise. Right? One of the direction we apply the force in this one and other force is applied to another one. The same amount of force we apply this using our hand. Right? අපේ ඇඟිලි වලින් එක කරගෙන පුතා ටැප් එක අරනවා ඔයා හිතන්න. එතකොට මේ අපි මේක මෙහෙම we are given couple of forces. Two forces. That's why we called it a couple of forces. In this situation, we apply the two forces. Couple of forces. We called it as a couple of forces. Right? Couple of forces. Consider another more instances. What are they? Using the screwdriver when we are tightening or loosening a nail. Screwdriver එක දන්නවනේ. screw පණිනේ කියන්නේ අපි. මේක පාවිච්චි කරලා අපි ඇණයක් ගලවනකොට හරි තද කරනකොට කොහොමද අල්ලන්නේ? මෙහෙමයි. Two forces we apply same time. It's a couple of forces. We called it as a couple of forces. දෙකක් කියන එක තමයි මෙතනින් mean වෙන්නේ. So due to this couple of forces is also create the moment. Due to this couple of forces is also create the moment. So how do we find the moment that create due to this couple of forces? Easy, Lamai. Very easy, right? Consider this situation. We apply the couple of forces, right? The one force is both of the force during the apply couple of forces. Both of the two forces should be same and opposite direction. Anivaring same and opposite direction when. Right. Another one is to apply the couple of forces. It should be fixed to the rotational axis. Anivaring me rotational axis ekata fix වෙන්න ඕන. Right. මෙන්න මේ හරියට මෙයා firmly fix වුණා කියලා හිතන්න. Right. Imagine that here is the F and another one is also the F. Right, distance between these two, let's take the D here. Let's take the D. So couple of forces, distance between the two forces, right? මේ forces දෙක අතර distance එක තමයි අපි ගන්න. එහෙනම් moment of couple of forces, we can write moment on couple of force. ඒ කියන්නේ moment මේ couple of force එක නිසා create වෙන moment එක equal වෙනවා force into which one? Perpendicular distance between, right? Perpendicular distance between the lines action of the two forces. The line action of the two forces. Perpendicular distance line action of the two forces. ඒ කියන්නේ අපි මේකට කියනවා F time to D කියලා කියනවා. What do we call? F time to D. F time to D. ඔච්චරයි. Moment of the couple of ඔච්චරම තමයි කතන්දර. Moment of a couple of forces. Right, here is the thing. Right, අපි චුට්ටක් ලියගමු. The couple of forces මෙහෙම ලියන්න. Two coplanar forces of equal magnitude acting in opposite direction along two lines of action that are spaced are known as couple of forces. Right, another point, put this star mark and write it. It's a very important point. When a couple of forces is applied on an object, put the comma and write the first one. There are two forces are equal. First point එක. Yeah. There are two forces are equal. Forces දෙකම equal වෙනවා. There are two forces are equal. Right, මේ වහනවා. හරි. ඊළඟට මේ බලන්න. They are parallel to the each other. ඔයාලට පේනවද? මේ දෙක parallel. F කියන force දෙක parallel. ඊළඟට direction එක මොකක්ද කියන්නේ? Opposite side direction එකට තියෙන. දෙකේ directions දෙක දෙකක්. ලියන්න second one. They are parallel and
So the second pointer.
yeah, the second point. Yes, the second point. They are parallel and opposite to the each other. They are parallel and opposite to the each other. Opposite to the each other. Next one. These two forces have equal distances. These two forces have equal distances from the rotational axis. These two forces have equal distances from the rotational axis. මේ rotational axis එකේ ඉඳන් තියෙන distance එක equal වෙනවා. Right. Okay, එහෙනම් මේක ඇඳලා ලියගමු. Formula එක highlight කරගමු. Right, here is the formula. And unit of the unit. Force mean Newton, distance is meter, as same Newton meter, SI unit. If you have finished your work, then just put the raise hand. Now let's move the next part, right? I think you completed everything. So just do the one example, right? Just do the one example here. Consider the image that given here. What is it? Right. Here you can see that the instances that apply in couple of forces. One force is applied to this direction, other one is applied for this direction, and here is fixed to this place. Right, find the couple of forces, apply here. Let's take 0.4 meters, 0.3 meters. Find the couple of forces. Find couple of forces. Find the couple of forces. Quickly. Find the couple of forces. Do it quickly. We want to start the new chapter now. How do we find the couple of forces equal? Moment due to the couple of forces equal. Moment due to the couple of forces, the moment of the equal, what is it? Force into perpendicular distance. What is the force? 10 Newton. Perpendicular distance in between two forces, 0.4 plus 0.3 meters. 10 times to 0.7. What is it? 7 Newton meter. Answer 7 Newton meter. හරිද? ඉක්මනට හදලා. Okay, next දාගමු. Instances that application of couple of forces. Let's try heading application of couple of forces. Application of couple of forces. Application of couple of forces. First one, Liana, when opening or closing tap. When opening or closing tap. When opening or closing tap. A couple of force. A couple of force. Act on the tap head. Act on the tap head. Second one, unscrewing a nail with screwdriver. Unscrewing a nail with screwdriver. Third one, rotating the steering wheel. Rotating the steering wheel. Third one, rotating the steering wheel. Okay, Lamai, already we complete this lesson. And now, so is there any question of this lesson to ask me? ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවද අහන්න? නෑ නේද? හරි. Okay. අපි පටන් ගමුනේ new chapter එක. chemical bonds පටන් ගමු. පොඩි වෙලාවක් තියෙනවා. start කරගමු. නැත්නම් time අද වෙනවනේ. හරි. tutes tute එක නම් important මේ lesson එකට. හරි පුතේ මේකේ මම නිකන් ඕගොල්ලන්ට දාලා පෙන්නන්න. I know so many work we have to do this lesson. Hmm. Chemical bonds. Wait. මම මේක බේසික් ටික එක්ස්ප්ලේන් කරලා තමයි නවත්තන්නේ. ඉන්න ටියුට් එක ගොඩක් අය ගාව නැති එක තමයි ප්‍රශ්නේ. Unit 10, Unit 10, Unit 8, Unit 10. Right, here is the lesson. Chemical bonds, right? මේ බලන්න මේකේ අපිට space තියෙනවා ගොඩක් වැඩ කරන්න. It's look like a workbook, right? Right. ලියන්න තියෙනවා. Right, we have to draw about ionic bonds. Having a drawing space. This can be shown figure, right? Figures තියෙනවා මේ. An iron and covalent bond. Two type of covalent bond. Likewise, you have to draw the hydrogen molecule, Cl molecule, water molecule, CCl4, ammonia, oxygen, methane, nitrogen, right? Dot cross diagrams. Right? You have to draw the dot cross diagrams. Space is given. And what is the Lewis structure? And draw the Lewis structure of this compound. Right? Draw the shape of the ACl3, PCl5 molecule, about the atomic lattice, right? Everything is there, right? So this tute is very important to you, right? Everything having short form, and here is the very important chemistry lesson. Make a කටපාඩම් කරලා කරන්න බෑ. Firstly, the lesson is bond, right? I understand කරන්න ඕනි what is the chemical bond and why the elements are going to form the bond. මම මේකේ බේසික් ටික එක්ස්ප්ලেইন කරන්නම්. එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලෝ මේ සතිය ටියුට් එක arrange කරගන්න. right? එතකොට ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ලබන සතිය අපිට මේක වැඩි ඉක්මනට කරගන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. එතකොට don't leave the class, right? කට්ටිය So chemical bonds. What do you mean by chemical bonds? What do you mean by bonds? The bonds. Singaling api bandhanaya. The single bandhima. Actually, bond mean, right? We can take it. The meaning of the bond is, there is a relationship, something else, no? Relationships between two or more things, we can say it as a bond, right? There's a relationships. We don't know that which kind of relationships, right? Anyway, we can tell it whether it's a relationships between the two or more. Got it, idea? So what is the reason for that? Form the bonds, right? As know that you know that the bonds mean actually the certain kind of relationships, right? In between elements also form the bond. In between elements also form the bonds. This kind of bond is we called as a chemical bonds. This kind of bond is we called as a chemical bond. The pure form of the sodium is Na and chlorine is Cl. Sodium making bond with chlorine, it form it as a sodium chloride. Forming at a sodium chloride. Understand this thing well, right? The second one, consider the example, nitrogen bond with hydrogen, it form ammonia molecule, NH3. We call it as a NH3. You know that whether bond with hydrogen and oxygen, it form H2O, water molecule. It's a bond, having a bond. It's also having a bond. Tell me that whether every element found in the periodic table like this is forming a bond or not. හැම එලිමන්ට් එකක්ම මේ වගේ bonds හදනවාද? දැන් මේ බලන්න. Magnesium with chlorine it form MgCl2. In between magnesium and chlorine there is a bond. In between sodium and chlorine there is a bond. In between hydrogen molecules there is a bond. That's why form the ammonia molecule. And what is the reason for forming the bonds? Fine. We'll see that whether consider that sodium element. අපි දන්නවා atomic number sodium 11 නේද? What is the atomic number of the element? Listen to me very carefully. It's a 11. So let's write the electronic configuration. We can easily know 2,8,1. 2,8,1. Come to the chlorine element. Come to the chlorine. What is the atomic number? You know that whether it's a 17. Right? What is the electronic configuration? Sir, we can write whether it's a 2,8,7. Right? Consider this element electronic configuration very important. Consider the element nitrogen. What is the atomic number? Atomic number, what is it? What is the atomic number? It's a 7. Then what is the electronic configuration? We can write it 2,5. 2,5. Let's take, what is it? Hydrogen. Hydrogen is 1, no? A neon. Right. Consider the element neon. Electronic configuration. Atomic number 10, no? In a 2,8. Consider that helium. Helium. Atomic number 2. Then electronic configuration is also 2. And consider that argon. Atomic number 18, we can write electronic configuration 2,8,8. Right. Can you get the idea about the difference between the electronic configuration of this element? Look at this one. In sodium, the outer shell, right? The outer shell. For the outer shells, we call it as a valence shell, right? In sodium, the valence shells having 1 electron. Utala, how many electrons needed to make the stable configuration? How many electrons needed? It should be needed 8 electrons needed. Should be having 8 electrons in their valence shells to keep to form the stable configuration. But you can see that whether in sodium having 1 electrons of their valence shell. In sodium having how many electrons? 1 electrons of their valence shell. But consider that the chlorine having 7 electrons. If they have 1 more electron, already to chlorine molecules is also stable. Got it idea? Already to chlorine molecule is stable. Nitrogen having 5 electrons. If it is having 3 more electrons, nitrogen is also a stable molecule. We'll see the neon, right? Valence shells having 8 electrons. Already to their valence shells complete. Consider the argon having 8 electrons. Already to their valence shell complete. Come to the helium. Helium has also having 2 electrons, only 1 energy levels. So that electrons is complete. Already to it complete. Make it a complete. Got the idea? So the sodium, chlorine, nitrogen, when we consider this configuration, this configuration are not stable one, right? They are not stable configuration. They are incomplete configuration. Right? They want to stable one. They want to stable. But you can see that whether this kind of element is having a stable electronic configuration. Stable electronic configuration. Got it idea? They have stable electronic configuration. Therefore, right, this kind of elements we call it as a noble gas. Noble gas. They not need to try make the bonds between another element because they are already to stable element. පුතාලට තේරෙනවද? මේ ඔක්කොම stable කට්ටිය. එතකොට මේගොල්ලන්ට ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. They don't have any problem. Already to stable element. හැබැයි මේගොල්ලෝ ගත්තොතින් if you are considering this element, actually they are already to unstable element. Therefore, they always try to make a stable electronic configuration. They are every time they are trying to make the electronic configuration. So how to make the stable electronic configuration? The one thing is they can remove their electrons. They can remove their electrons. That means in sodium 2,8,1 electronic configuration, but the sodium can remove the 1 electrons. It's 2,8. It's stable. It's look like a neon, right? එහෙම වුණොත් neon වගේ. කරිදැඩියා. Chlorine having 2,8,7. Chlorine can obtain one more electron. It's look like having total electrons 8. It look like argon. That becomes stable one. Got the idea? Nitrogen also similar manner. Can obtain 2 more electrons. It becomes stable. It's look like a neon. Got the idea? To make the stable configuration, actually, this kind of elements are making the bond. So how to form the bond? By removing or gaining of electrons. They remove the electrons and they gain the electrons. Some elements remove the electrons, some element gain the electrons. Samaharu pita karna, samaharu karna. And they form the bond. Here is the way that forming bond. So why elements are making bond? To make the stable configuration. Very simple answer, to make the stable configuration. So why the elements does not make the bonds in the neon, helium and argon? Because already they have the stable configuration. Because they have the stable configuration, they don't need to going to make the bond with another element. So that is the reason that elements are making bond. Is it okay, no? Right. Is it okay? Ko බලන්න ඒ ටික තේරිච්ච දරුවෝ? Right. Already තේරිච්ච කට්ටිය. Right. Good. Right. එහෙනම් today now I am going to stop the class. Right. So the tute is very important. Good කට්ටියට ගොඩක් ඈතට එන්න පරක් වෙලා යනවා ඉක්මනට ගන්න next week එකේ මේක අපි වැඩේ කරගෙන යමු. මේකේ කරගෙන යන්න තිබ්බනම් හොඳයි. පුතා මෙහෙමයි දැන් අර ටිකක් ලොකු notes තියෙන හින්දා මම ඒවනම් වැඩිපුර ආපහු class එක ඇතුලේ discuss කරන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ කියන්නේ note එක ලියන්නේ නැහැ. note එක ලියන්න ගියොත් මගේ ටාගට් එකට මට වැඩේ කරගන්න බැරි වෙනවා. ඒත් මම ඔයගොල්ලන්ට ටියුට් එක පෙන්නනවා නේද ඉස්සෙල්ලා. එතකොට අනිවාර්යෙන් ටියුට් එක ළඟ තියෙනවා නම් ඉක්මනට වැඩේ යන්න ලේසි. ඒ කියන්නේ අපිට අමාරු වෙනවා එහෙම යන්න ගියොත්. ඒ කියන්නේ note ලියාගෙන යන්න බෑ. right note ලියාගෙන යන්න ගියොත් ටිකක් අමාරු වෙනවා scene එක කරගන්න. All the everything is given on the tute no? Right මේවා ලියන්න බෑ අපිට. මේවා ලිය යන්න ගියොත් හරි අමාරුයි. මේ වගේ scene ටික right අපි අවශ්‍ය ටික highlight කරගෙන diagrams ටික ඇඳගෙන ඉක්මනට යන්න ඕනේ. concepts ටික ඔලුවට අරන් දැන් මේ ඔය මම පළවෙනි page එකේ explain කරපු note එක first page එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා. මේ first page එකේ දීලා තියෙනවා. එතකොට මේක explain කරන් යනකොට තමයි ලේසි. right first page. right ඒ විදිහට අපි වැඩේ කරගෙන යමු. right එහෙනම් today I am going to stop the class. Is there any question to ask me? No ne? right in every day we are sending the booster paper right before start the 30 minutes earlier we shared the booster paper. So do the booster paper before coming to the class and try to come in the class on time. That means 8 to know try කරන්න පන්තිට. Okay, let's stop now. Good night you all. See you the next day. Bye everyone.